if you don't have me on Facebook, you miss out on some of my text there. So I just wanted to tell you guys as well, I wanted to talk about a little bit about health and why health and meaning of life are essentially the same. So you've got to realize that your subjective experience is all you have. That's the only thing you have. And it doesn't matter what you believe, this is always the truth, you know. It doesn't matter philosophy or religion or whatever it is. Your subjective experience, everything you do goes from this subjective experience. There is nothing else. And health is therefore the meaning in life, because without health, you know, you either deteriorate this experience or you make it greater or higher, so to speak. And so that's why, you know, health is the meaning of life. You see, I can explain it just in like 2 seconds there. So I've already solved the meaning of life. There is nothing else to solve here except just keep on going and achieving greater health, going after greater health, always trying to perfect the human condition, trying to perfect yourself. Always, you know, so when you hit those, you know, plateaus in training, in diet and so forth, you change a little bit. So you keep consistent, but if you feel like you're stuck, then change the park. So that's what I'm doing. Or change the playground, or change the gym, or change, you know, or perhaps not even change the gym, instead change the equipment. You change, or if you always go to the gym, do some calisthenics instead. Or if you always do calisthenics, lift some weights a little bit, you know, if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, you can still do calisthenics, you can do weighted calisthenics, you can try to do handstand push-ups if you have neglected these. So whatever you have neglected, do those instead and try to get those in, but never drop your basics as well, all right? Because if you drop the basics, you will lose on these. You always gotta keep on going, always motion, always moving. Because as a natural, you have to have a high frequency in training. You can't do, you know, 3 days a week. That is you will never see results that you want in just 3 days of the week, all right? At least 5 days in the week. And also full body, you know, well, you can split, but the whole week will become, you know, full body. So you don't have to do full body, so some days can be full body and so forth. Your health is the most important thing. So you gotta implement some sort of fasting and some sort of eating routine, but you know, it is a counterbalance. It is a beautiful life, because you see, I fast 23 hours, and then when I eat fast, and I spike, you know, the insulin, and you spike inflammation, of course. You cannot ever avoid some sort of inflammation and, you know, damage, because it is impossible. You know, it is impossible. There is no such thing as a perfect, you know, car. It always gets damaged. You can oil it up as much as you want. At some point, it will get damaged, you know. Let's look at a screw, for example. You have a screw and you keep on screwing, but it will always lose a little bit of that metal, all right? And that is life as well. It is impossible not to, because we're aging, and, you know, DNA cannot keep up and cannot repair the DNA damage. So that's the very reason, that's the deeper reason. You know, all these telomeres and all those things, when we learn more about that, you know, we will learn how to repair DNA damage. We might be able to become, you know, 25 years old all the time. All people will become this in the future perhaps, but not right now. So the best thing is fasting. You get, you know, softer skin as soon as you dry fast all day long and you train. So you get used to this. It is not easy in the beginning, all right? It is not easy to fill up your stomach with a lot of food, you know, immediately. But now I enjoy this. I actually enjoy it. I prefer this way, you know. And I discovered it through self-experimentation. You have to self-experiment. Now, obviously, it might not work for you, especially in the beginning, but slowly you get there. Slowly you get there, all right? So your health is the meaning of everything. Because we want to be capable of helping not just ourselves. That is the first purpose principle. That is your first purpose, helping yourself, of course. And then you help others. So you can carry your grandmother's, things. You can carry your family's, things. You're capable, you're strong, you're always ready, always ready. So if a situation happens, like my father, he had a car accident. Well, he was on his bike and a car hit him. And and since I train, now obviously I couldn't, I wasn't there, and he's fine, and nothing major happened, no major injuries. He was very lucky there. But, I was running like a madman, but not panicked. But I was running really fast and, getting there. I knew exactly where it was. He called me. So I was just running. And if I hadn't trained, I couldn't run as well. So, that is why you're always ready. You should always be ready. Life is, life can, I understand that life can change very quickly. Life can change very quickly. And, we're always, low energy, and then something happens and then, now we change. That shouldn't be your attitude in life, all right? That is the whole point. That is the purpose of my ignition of you people. I want to ignite this will in you towards greater health without you having to wait for something drastic to happen. No, in your mind, the drastic happens now, all right? It happens now because you follow your higher desire. You want that body. So one of the best, mottos I had for myself in the beginning, I had in my mind all the time this thing, when I was saying to myself, you want that body, you gotta keep on working, keep on pushing. So, and there is a video of Tom Hardy when he was training. He actually hated, the way he ate, the way he trained. So that is why it's important. This doesn't work unless you love the way you eat and love the way you train. So you gotta, that's why I always speak of joy in the process and joy in finding all of your, your training, your morning routine, your OMAD, your eating routine, your fasting routine, and so forth, your dry fasting routine, implementation and everything. So that is why, so Tom Hardy, he hated the way he trained, and he couldn't understand people who like this. But you start liking the pain almost, all right? So this is the other side of the spared version. I can see this dualistic, I have this dualistic philosophy, more or less, because when I created my book, and I'm always, every day I'm writing and fixing it, so it's going to be great. So I think you guys will love my book, but you will understand where my language comes from and everything. When I say inner wisdom, old self, new self, when I say changing yourself all the time, building character. Now, some of that came a little bit later once I, worked on myself and so forth. But I will put in, some more of the wisdom. It will be like a book of 3 people. It will be 3 stages of people, and there are actually 3 dialogues in it. So it's a perfect symbol. But so so like Tom Hardy, he hated the way he trained, but he didn't understand these people, and you have this pain, but you love the resistance. You love the resistance because you get stronger. So while these people, when I was training in the park today, all these people walk around with winter clothes, and I'm there, the sun started, I don't have it on footage because the battery died, but the sun started to show itself again, and I removed my t-shirt and get some vitamin D, and people watch, and I don't care, because you get confidence once you have muscles. it is nice. It is very nice to have this. So that's the bonus. But it is hard work. It is hard work. And the same goes with everything else. That is why I love training as the perfect metaphor for everything, everything. Because there is no cheating here. I gotta train all the time, every single day almost. I have my chaos days on Saturday. I do whatever I want to on Saturdays, or it's my catch-up day when I perhaps want to create a painting or socialize the whole day like I did yesterday. I just socialize the whole day because that's what I wanted to do, and I follow my instincts. So once you follow my philosophy, you will also learn how to follow your instincts as well. So this is a health philosophy. It's a life philosophy. It is a philosophy of life. But you see, there is a dualistic nature to the philosophy as well. So in the despair, you have inner wisdom, and we're working now on outer wisdom in some sense. But it comes from core and outwards. But inner wisdom comes from outwards to the core, inner. So information in only that. Well, more or less only that. Because you're depressed and all that, but you're still creative, you're still creating things all the time. It's just that you never finish, anything, or you never, that's why my book wasn't finished, So that's what I want to teach people my mistakes. Well, that is natural, you want to teach people your mistakes so other people don't do these mistakes. And so, I have success now with my body, my diets, sleep and so forth. Now, sleep is often a problem, sleep. So, but you gotta work on your sleep as well. You gotta make sure to rest properly. So Saturdays, Sundays, you rest properly. All right? So, and you don't worry, and you don't drop training. You don't drop anything. You don't just drop writing your book either, If it's 1 page, it's better to do 1 page per day than 0 pages. Because after 200 days, you will have 200 pages. After 300 days, you will have your book, or, it depends on how long you want your book to be. This book, I want it to be around 200 pages. So I don't want to have a very thick book. It's the same with training, all right? You gotta keep on training. It's better to do 1 push-up than 0 push-ups. It's better to walk than just sit. Once you see yourself having some results, this will just keep you moving forward. Once you see your abs, this will help you a lot in the beginning, Fast yourself down to see your abs. But, you gotta also put some muscles on. I was one of those, I wasn't ever obese. Perhaps I'll put a picture here. Of myself like 1 year ago, almost 1 year ago, 5 days, I found a picture, 15th of March, but it's the 10th today. So, and I made a comparison. And of course I put on, a little bit of fat because I did this warrior diet experiment where I just, every single day I ate before my training and then after. But now I'm back to my OMAD, and this is truly burning the fat away, all right? It is truly doing this. I think I have some other pictures not long ago, and we can make comparisons. We'll see after a month and so forth, and we'll see a difference here. Now, obviously, when you add some muscles as well, this will push, so to speak, the fat as well. It will push forward, and it will show itself even though you have fat, so it gets dispersed, distributed, so to speak. So that's how it works as well. So, but that's why OMAD is so great. You fast most of the day, and then you just eat, and it's great. And you don't have to worry too much about, getting the food in before or between or directly after your training. It's not that much big of a deal. Right? Because our ancestors, it's not like they timed all of these things. Each and every day they would perhaps go out and hunt, but first off, they wouldn't find food every single day. But second, it's not like every hunt will look the same. That's why I speak of, organic life, natural life. I want the natural life. So I'm doing the same things every day, so I don't have to plan. Every day is basically the same, and yet I love it because I love each and every process. That's why I speak of joy in the process. So you will never fail. So you see, that is the key. That is the key. You gotta have joy in that process. And if you don't have joy in this process, then skip that, it can't be part of your process. Journaling, for example. I don't journal anything. There is no need to journal anything. I know how many leg raises I can do and what the next will be. Or perhaps, I won't even have to log all of those things because you will add muscles anyway, because you keep on adding. I will give you a concrete example here. All right, so I was 60.6 kilograms. I will go with kilograms because pounds is stupid. The whole universe uses kilograms. The standard in physics is kilograms and grams. All right, so for mass. Oh, and by the way, mass and weight is actually not the same thing. We know this from physics. It's not the same thing. Your weight is actually the gravity of Earth times your Newton. Your mass. Your mass is the kilograms, but then your weight is actually in Newton units. Now, anyway, so now almost no one in fitness will tell you this. No one in fitness will tell you this because they don't have a physics background. Now I have this, so it's not like I'm not a physicist, but I didn't finish my physics. But I always loved physics. I always loved nature. I love the concepts of physics. It's not like I'm not a math genius, but I'm not bad at math either. I can do math that most people can't do, but it's not my passion. So that's why, language is more my passion, for example, or training like this, or speaking to you is much more my passion. Well, it is my passion. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this. So I love this. I love this. So you see, I gotta have a joy in this. Otherwise, it doesn't work. But I also want to improve myself with each and every video so that I get better and better, express myself better and better. I want people to understand what I'm saying. I don't want to be an obscurant, or I don't want to have an obscure language because I want to understand it myself. All right, I want to understand it myself. I don't trust people who just want to obscure things. They don't want to have the truth. I want the truth. I want the truth. Even though it's fleeting, I still want the truth. It doesn't matter. All of these things I'm speaking of are connected. I'm not just talking, losing myself here. It's all about health. Everything I will speak of is about health. Every intellectual thing is about health. Oh yeah, so the dualistic nature of my philosophy. Now, you have this inner, my past philosophy, the current one is much better, it's much healthier, because that's the way you get to greater health, up the mountain. It's not, going to the depths all the time, or perhaps never. I mean, perhaps when you do a poem, for example, but then you pull yourself, I still train and I can't pull myself down, too deeply. That is impossible now. I'm going upwards, only upwards. That's why I noticed this doomer, this doomer meme. There is a meme apparently. I used to be on 9gag and things like that. You see, I'm not a 1,000-year-old man. I still, I can still relate to all of these things. And I played video games. I used to be, I played World of Warcraft. I was an orc hunter. I was called Wazog on Earthen Ring. All right. If you know someone on Earthen Ring that was called Wazog, Wazzog, and on Earthen Ring, and back in, what was it, like 2006, 7, something like that. If you know that person, that's me. All right, that is me. So, and it was hunter. I love that, you know. And I've always been drawn to hunting and survival. I've always been drawn to hunting and survival. My father is a hunter. My uncle in Macedonia, he's a hunter. And so I come from a family of hunters. I'm not afraid of meat. I'm not afraid of, you know, I've seen a pig slaughtered, or a swine, or whatever you want to call it. It's not fun to listen to it, you know, with a knife actually. And no, it's not halal. I'm not a Muslim, but they still, you know, traditionally in the countryside, they do it like that. So, you know, perhaps I will film when I'm in Serbia. Well, I am Serbian and Macedonian and Valachian. So I'm mixed. My grandfather is Valachian Serbian, so born in Serbia, but he speaks the language, so, which is almost like Romanian. It's like a dialect from Romanian, a little bit like that. So, you know, all right, so that's a tangent. That's a true tangent. But it's still health. I'm still speaking about myself because, you know, this is like Aristotle talked about cathartic, you know, catharsis. But the catharsis thing is not quite correct either, you know. You become the creator. The catharsis itself is creating it, you know, creating yourself as well. So it is deeper than just, you don't just go into the waters and you don't just watch things and that's catharsis. It's much even deeper catharsis if you create things, you create a book instead of just reading a book. There is a huge difference there, a huge difference. It's two worlds. Oh yeah, so anyway, so the dualistic thing, all right? So you can still reach almost the same, I call it inner wisdom when you're despaired, but you can get all these dual-layered nature awareness in life through the core philosophy as well. So from the core outwards. So it's an outer wisdom. So it becomes an outer wisdom, or, you know, a core wisdom. From the core outwards, that kind of wisdom. Core wisdom, or core outwards wisdom. I always speak of core because I see, you know, it's like when I was a kid, you know, I saw Nirvana like that. A core, almost like pure energy, but there is no such thing as pure. And even though we think of, when we think of nature, let's say matter here, we think of this matter, and we can imagine, you know, this matter as pure energy as well, instead of being matter, like in physics. Energy equals mass times the light constant, you know, power to 2. It's not like we can imagine it. We can imagine it, but it doesn't mean that it's realistic just because we imagine it. I can imagine almost anything, you know. I can imagine the grass being pink here, but it's not. It's not realistic. It doesn't match reality. So that's the same with training. That's why I speak of the vision gets better and better, because now I have some muscle definition, and now I can see my vision more clearly. And when I create these videos, I can see my vision even more clearly. When I speak of greater health and health, my purpose gets stronger and stronger. My purpose and definition of purpose gets, you know, narrower and narrower, because I understand myself more and more. My vision gets improved, or, you know, it gets more realistic. So we don't, you know, it's not perfection. That's why you can't solve things just thinking them, just dreaming your dream. You gotta write the book, and then, you know, you gotta film the film. You gotta everything. It doesn't matter what it is. You gotta create the business. You can't just imagine the business, all right? You have to do that, but not just that. And you improve that as well, the thinking, as you move along. And it will be a bumpy road, all right? It won't be a straight road. The same way with calisthenics, with training. It's not like I could do 40 diamond push. I couldn't even do a diamond push-up in the beginning. I couldn't do a single diamond push-up. I never had definition up in my upper chest area. I never had definition in my upper chest area in my whole life. Well, of course, I saw some abs and so forth, but I never saw true muscle definition like that. Maybe a little bit when I first started with calisthenics, a little bit. But then I injured my shoulder, got depressed as well. It wasn't, the depression wasn't because of the shoulder, just the shoulder. You know, it was because, you know, you keep on reading negative, you know, not just negative, but depressive things, tragedy. You keep on just reading tragedy. You keep on thinking yourself in tragic ways. I just want to, you know, I just want to kill myself. I can still remember the way I wanted to kill myself. All right, I can still remember this, and I will talk about this casually, because it is casual. All right, it is casual. Suicide has been around for thousands of years. It's nothing new. All right, there is nothing new here. So, but I can help you with suicide. I can truly help, because I know, because I pull myself out of it. I pull myself out of it, and forever. All right, it is forever. It's not, oh, will I be depressed again? I will never get depressed again. There is nothing that can stop me. Nothing. Nothing can stop me. Become a force of nature. All right, that is who you want to become. That's why I want the resistance. Now I want the resistance. Back then, you know, you keep on torturing your core. That is despaired state. That is that philosophy. So you get some wisdom from it, awareness, but it is, you know, you go mad. You go mad. I had this experience of consciousness pulling out of my system, out of my brain. Yeah, system, but, well, body and brain. So, you know, you have these spiritual, you can call them spiritual experiences, deeper experiences, but it's not healthy. You're not healthy. You're eating terribly as well. I ate terribly. Now, even if you don't eat terribly, you probably drink. So those are the doomers there. You know, they drink beer apparently and play Doom. I played Doom as well. I played Doom 3. Well, I played the old ones as well, but I played Doom 3 a lot with a friend of mine. Well, he played a lot. I more or less watched him. It wasn't my thing, but all right. So it was a little bit boring, you know. I remember all these maps were basically the same. The whole game was the same, always gray, but it was cool with the demons coming up from the. I think it was from the floor, from the, you know, from every single, you know, from the roof and so forth. It was cool, but, you know, instead of improving the character which you are, instead of that, you're just delaying that with playing games, with whatever it is. So I want to see a player that plays games, but he still has muscles and he's still, you know, developed himself. I want to see people playing on Twitch not being these fat, you know, I can see these, you can see it on the face, I can see it in your eyes, you know. I only need a picture. I can see it on your face, on your eyes, because I was this. I can see it in my old pictures. I did that actually earlier because I looked for this picture so I could compare myself. And so, all right, so this video will be, you know, all over the place, but who cares? I want to share myself with you people. I just want to give myself to you, because that is the very reason why I started everything. After my book, I realized this in my book. So my book helped me actually, creating my book helped me pull myself out of myself even further. And then I started training for myself. But then in the training, I realized I hit that wall that I always speak of, the wall. And then you realize, well, what am I training for? Am I just training for myself? And you see, that's why I speak of, I'm not just training for myself. That it was the beginning of this video. I don't just train for myself. You train for your family. You train for everyone else. Even though they don't listen to you. They don't want to fast. They've tried it, but they don't want to fast. But they have moved a little bit. They've started with these resistant bands. I have resistant bands, but I don't use them that much, but they're actually pretty good. I should use them more often and get back a little bit to jumping rope. But I've started to box a little bit, shadow boxing. I'm not a boxer, but I've done karate. I've done Shotokan karate. I've done tennis, basketball. I love sports, you know. It's not just calisthenics, but I love calisthenics. So, and I believe calisthenics bodies are beautiful. That is what I look for as well. So it is aesthetics as well. I want to look good on the beach as well. And you want to be beach ready every day. You're beach ready. I'm always beach ready. I just go to the beach. I can go to the beach without a shirt and I'm always beach ready, you know. And you won't feel, you won't lack confidence. All of these things come along as a bonus as you work on yourself. So when you gain some muscles and muscle definition, you'll gain confidence, and you will gain confidence to keep on going. You won't just drop your exercise. You can't do that unless you've injured yourself. But that's why I love calisthenics, because I don't believe you actually hurt yourself that much from calisthenics. But you drive fast to heal your shoulder, old shoulder injury. You drive fast thoroughly, like 36 hours, and then you do it again. And that's how you truly heal your body. That's how I healed my shoulder, truly healed. I could feel it, and I never feel it again. And when I drive fast, I don't feel it again. So, but the calisthenics also helps. I'm doing natural movements. I'm not doing these unnatural movements. We're not meant to have these machines, as in the gym. They're fine, but you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. And don't use too much weight. If you're going to the gym, don't use too much weight. Start very slow, all right? You gotta have perfect control over the equipment. You gotta have perfect control, all right? If you don't have control, you gotta take off some weights or whatever it is. If you're pulling, still there, the weights, you gotta change those and so forth. Now, I'm not experienced with gyms, so there are other people for that. I'm more experienced with calisthenics, and calisthenics in parks and outdoors. That is my thing, because I love it. And you don't need anything. I can train anywhere. I don't need anything. That's why I love it. I'm always resilient, ready, strong. You're always strong, agile. I can run. I can do anything. All right. I have pretty good balance as well. Now the balance thing, I want to work on that more and more, and more grip work and small things, but not just small things. I do the basics, so I get the small things as well as the muscle definition. All right, and you gotta eat a lot as well. But you do OMAD so you don't always spike insulin, because we never compromise our health. You never sacrifice your health. You see, that is the most important thing in the philosophy. That is the most important thing in this way of life. Philosophy, way of life, all right? Diet is a way of life. Diet means, I think, way of life. So I see this person now here. He can barely walk. You see, you gotta take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. I get inspired by sick people, by perhaps even mostly by sick people. But you see, I was with my grandmother yesterday, so I helped her, carry. Well, she didn't want help in carrying the groceries, so we bought a lot of bananas, a lot of fruits, but my grandfather, he was an alcoholic. Well, he will always be an alcoholic, but he actually stopped. But he stopped when he couldn't drink anymore. He stopped when his body told him to stop, because if he's drinking, he can't, not just puke. He started puking, which he never did, ever. I never saw him puke from alcohol, never ever. And then I saw him, and that was the end of alcohol. So you see, I am truly against alcohol. I've been drunk myself, so I understand when you have gaps in your brain. I understand all these things because I've done it. And luckily I did that when I was younger, and then my body could heal. And that is gone. That is the past. And I don't hate the past, the past is dead. I always say the past is dead, long live the future. But I don't hate it anymore. I used to hate it. I used to hate it. I don't hate it anymore. I almost love it. I'm starting to love it because I love the mediocrity. I love mediocrity. Because without mediocrity, and I love my past as well, because without it, I wouldn't be who I am, right? It sounds obvious, but it is not obvious. It is not obvious. And you gotta have some experience to understand what I'm saying. But that's fine, you know, that's why you start. And young people today, you have access to all information now. Actually, if you watch my stuff, I have access to a lot of information, all right? I'm not even scratching the surface. I haven't even talked about cinema. I barely talked about cinema. We can talk about movies forever, but that is the artistic side, you know? So I can tell you my thoughts about, you know, how camera should move, and, you know, the way I love cameras moving and so forth. I don't like static cameras because it doesn't tell you motion. But of course, there is motion here when I'm doing gestures. But all right, so everything is health. So you see, you help your grandmother carry those groceries. You help well, she's almost 80 years old. But it is actually good that I didn't help her the whole way. She actually carried a lot of that weight herself. And I let her, because, well, I wanted to carry it, but she never let me. So I asked her, well, I almost took it from her, but, you know, she was resisting. And it is good because she needs that movement. She needs to carry stuff. She needs that movement. And I admire her greatly. I mean, perhaps, I think she's the person I admire the most, I think, of my whole family, my grandmother. She's been through a lot. An alcoholic, you know, moving away from mountains to more of a flat land in Serbia, from Macedonia to Serbia, and then moving from Serbia alone with her kids to Sweden. That's why I'm here. Because of my mother, you know, she wasn't born here, but I was born here. And so she created the life here for us. And so you know, she's the one I just admire the most, I think. Not just as a woman, as a person, all right? She's very strong. Women are very strong. Women are super strong. One of the most characteristics of women I admire the most is this sharpness. There is a sharpness to them. I like sharp women, all right? Not slow women. I like sharp women. I like these, you know, they notice things, they're observant, they are preserving in nature a lot of the time, but still, and yet they're not. They are with their children and so forth, naturally. But then they aren't because they still want to have a career, or they still want to have it all, you know? And that's ambitious. That's ambitious. There is nothing wrong with that, all right? There is nothing wrong with it. And, you know, feminism, all of this thing, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is your desires, all right? And you gotta work for your desires. I don't care who you are, you work for them, all right? So we have differences, we have universals, like anything else. We have differences, we have universals. We can speak of those. I have a video. I didn't upload that video because I went into politics, but perhaps I'll upload it. You know, you can't avoid politics. Eventually, it will pop up. Eventually, politics has to pop up because it is human endeavors. But the whole purpose of this core art philosophy is, the whole purpose is health. So wasting time on politics all the time, especially current politics, that is a waste of time. The same way it's a waste of time to just playing games or just watching movies or just reading books, actually. But that is, I think that's quite rare. Most people don't read that much anymore. But women read most, I think. So, you know, your health is the most important thing in your life. Without your health, you're nothing. Without your subjective experience, if you pull out your subjective experience, there is nothing there. There is nothing there anymore. We're nothing then. We're dead. We might as well have been dead if we're not there. You know? So that is the special thing with consciousness. You're there. Being there. Aware. You know? That is the special thing with consciousness, which appears after a certain number of neurons, apparently, and, you know, environmental pressures and genes and or forces, whatever you want to call it. So keep on working on yourself. Keep on, you know, bettering yourself, so to speak. Keep on moving towards your higher desire. Keep on working on your character and keep on moving towards your higher desire. It has to become more and more realistic. Once you see your body, you understand, all right, so I want to work more on this and this, but I understand now, this is what my body's capable of, but it's also what it looks like. So you see, vision is important. Vision is, the visuals are very important. So you just keep on doing that and you keep on being consistent. And, you know, organic life, organic, natural life, it doesn't have to be super structured. As long as you don't just drop the exercise, you keep on pushing those push-ups. I want that body, you better work for it. You want that body, you better work for it. Tell yourself that all the time. You want that body, you better work for it. You keep on pushing. And then you know, go harder and harder. That's why you don't listen to music when you train. You don't listen to music when you train. You listen to yourself when you train. All right? So that is much better because this is how you keep on improving yourself. Not with music. Music is just, you're again delaying yourself, delaying your destiny, delaying creating your character. You are the character. All right? So that is what I wanted to talk about. So keep on improving, making that higher desire more realistic towards the real. Without the real, we are nothing. The real is all there is. The real is all there is. And even if there is something else, that is irrelevant because we aren't there. We are in the real. We're within the real. Nothing else. All right? So you can't deny this or deny it, but I don't care about those people who deny reality, so it doesn't matter. I don't even speak to them. I don't have them in mind. But yeah, so of course, a lot of your family, they will go against you and so forth. Doesn't matter. You improve yourself because essentially no one else is caring about you. Well, I'm the only one basically caring about you. Me and few people on YouTube care about your health. All right. So basically Cole Robinson. I love Snake Diet Guy. I love him. He's very important to me. He's, in my opinion, he's perhaps the best on YouTube. Except me, of course. But if you want, but he's doing more gym stuff. I'm basically the Snake Diet Guy, but with calisthenics. But more, all right? So I'm not him. So I'm not him because there is more. It's greater health. But he also talks about greater health. Well, he doesn't say greater health, but he says, you know, purpose and health and so forth. Your health is the number one. And it is the number one priority you should have. Your health is everything. Your health is everything. All right? So you keep on working on yourself. Keep on working with this. And when you see results, you will feel better. Everything will be better. Everything. You will feel more confident. You won't feel, when you're on the beach, you won't feel like drawing back or, you know, eye contact. You will have more eye contact with people. You won't be shy. or you will be less shy at least. And now, of course, some people have a shy personality, but you can work on that as well. You just have to face your fear and talking to people. I can talk to anyone. I've always been like that. That is nothing I've ever had to work on, because I've always been like that. So I'm naturally like that. But most people aren't. So you gotta face that fear. You just talk to someone. But if you want to talk to that person, you don't force yourself, you know. And if it's a woman, go up to her and talk to her, you know. There is nothing complicated here. You don't have to wait. As a guy, you know, you don't have to wait to find a woman in your social circle. You just go out and find her. Keep on working on yourself. Keep on making your higher desire more realistic. Keep on improving your higher desire. Everything will be great and everything will be fine. You can find me on Facebook. Comment down below if you have any specific questions about anything. And you can contact me on Facebook. You can add me on Facebook, message me on Facebook. If you want to, you can ask me anything there. Or in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. All those things. Do that so you don't miss anything. Hit that bell button as well. As every other YouTuber says, do that so you don't miss anything, so that, you know, so you understand. And the purpose here is I want to re-navigate you every single time. So every single time you're doing something that you know isn't good for you, let's say playing video games for 6 hours without being a creator within games, all right? If you are a game developer, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. If you're a game developer and you also play a little bit of games for inspiration and the great games, you play the great games. The same way with books. I read the great books and then I write. You know, I don't waste my time on nonsense. All right, all these romantic nonsense novels. I don't waste my time on that. Only read the greats. Only play the greats. Only play the great games, and only watch the great movies. That's it. That is it. All right. You don't need everything. If you want fasting, you watch the best faster, which is Cole Robinson. He's the best in fasting. You watch him. You watch me for the best artistic philosopher. I'm the best artistic philosopher. Speaking of health, I mean, no one else has done this. A philosopher taking health this far, that has never been done. That has never been done. And making it, you know, the meaning of life, that has never been done. They've talked about it, you know. They talk about the good life and so forth, Aristotle, but it's not even close to this. It's not even close. And, you know, implementing Nietzsche, Heraclitus, all of these greats. So, but you find yourself, that is how you find yourself. That is how you find yourself. And you read the greats, but then you extract yourself from them. You take from them what is the best, you know. And so if you are a game developer, that is fine, all right? So if you are a doomer, perhaps I should make a doomer video, all right? I'm gonna make a doomer video right after this. All right, so keep on working on yourself and everything will be fine. I will see you, not tomorrow. I will always see you. I always see you